Good morning, afternoon, or evening. For the Press Corps, I'm Geoffrey Jennings, and welcome to Roll Call, a look into the regiments that help make up this thing we call Foxhole, in the regiment's own words. Today I'm joined by the leadership of the 77th, known by their aforementioned tag. Gentlemen, how are you doing?
I'm
Doing
doing
good. How
great.
about you?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Thank you so much. And you know what? Let's just go down the list and have everyone here introduce themselves and include your kind of positions slash role within the 77th.
I'm their commandant. Everyone refers to me as Kami usually. I'm one of the community admins. Um, yeah, that's pretty much about
How
me.
long? Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
How long have you been in the 77th?
About I think it's about 4 years now. Getting close, if not about 3 years and probably 8 months.
Wow, congratulations. And Muerto, how
Uh,
about you?
I've been in the 77th for over a year now, maybe two coming up. I just run things on the Foxhole side. The 77th is a multi-game kind of group.
Yeah, I got that from the logo here. We got a very nice art. I don't know if this is custom artwork or kind of pulled from other media, but regardless, it looks like a multi-gaming community, and I always appreciate Foxhole regiments that either whether they're exclusive to Foxhole, like they born out of Foxhole, or if they come from something else. That's always cool to see. Certainly, a lot of regiments do that. But yeah, what's the story behind the regiment's name? Why 7-7, other than just sounding cool?
It kind of comes from originally the game that originally incepted us was Hold Fast Nations at War, and it's kind of a Napoleonic era type of game. And 77th is one of the British regiments, and that's kind of where our name comes from. We just took the 77th and carried it on to our community and everything else.
You said was that a is that a British regiment?
Yeah, it's a British regiment because Hold Fast Nations at War, once again, it's a Napoleonic era
Yeah,
based game. So it's like the British, the French, Prussians, Italians, some other nations in it. So
yeah. So is that a real life regiment as well, or is that just
yeah, it is
okay?
a historical regiment. It's based off one of the historical regiments. I believe it's the Middlesex Regiment, 77th.
Wow, is this actually a European based regiment?
No, actually, we're NA based, but we are opened up to everybody. I specifically, right now, to be honest with you, I'm currently state. I work in Japan, so.
Oh wow,
But yeah, we have people from Australia, Europe, kind of all over the world. We don't limit to what specific we are.
There's always
right, right.
someone online.
How many members would you just say make up the 77th as a whole gaming community?
Uh, I
Rough
think
estimate.
right. I think right now we're sitting between about 850 to 1,000.
Wow, and how many of those play
Yeah,
Foxhole?
I'd say probably around 50.
Around 50.
Yeah, 50 that jump on. We have about 10 to 20 that play very regularly.
Yeah, so then
And
like on a typical 77th operation, you'll probably get like 10 or 15.
well, we don't really do operations in that way.
Sure.
It's just the nature of me being live most of the time.
Yeah.
So we can't plan things ahead, kind of like that. So we just kind of jump on, and whoever's on, we just make do with what we got. Whether it's okay, we're going to this front because it's extremely vital, we can't lose it. We'll go there. We'll figure out what needs to get done to either push or defend or do whatever we need to do. Or we'll just log on and be like, hey, we got three people. Let's jump in I don't know, a half track and let's see what's the best front for us to use this half track at.
We do a lot of QRF stuff. I think that's
Yeah.
kind of like our big thing.
Being on station, that's usually if you can't plan ahead or can't do any naval landings, any big ones, then yeah, usually QRF is going to be something that will wind up doing. And honestly, with all the partisans, I'm sure that's very much welcome. Colonial based regiment, right?
Yes.
Yeah, from what I've seen, and Muerto being the streamer, kind of the face of the Foxhole Regiment. I think that would be safe to say, at least from my view, being one of the more frequent content creators and streamers for the Foxhole community. It's really cool because we're very niche overall. So just being part of that's really really cool to see. So I guess it would be. I know you're all based all over the world, but I guess what would be like the primary like time zone? Would it be North American times?
Honestly, it's pretty even. There's almost always 4 to 5 people on,
Wow.
and then we'll usually have with time zones like commies in Japan right now.
Hmm.
For me, it's 1 in the afternoon. For him, it's God knows what time.
Sure.
It's 5 a.m.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness! Thank you so
so
much. Really, thank you
we're
for your
pretty
time.
we're pretty dedicated.
Oh boy. So yeah, when was the regiment's founding? I know Commandant, you said that you've been around for like almost 4 years now. So it was about then.
Yeah, it can. Some of the people that founded us, it was about 4.5 years ago, roughly.
Hmm.
Um, the founding members came from Mountain Blade, the Napoleonic Wars, when
Really?
Holdfast kind of came out. Yeah,
Oh my gosh! I remember I recently bought Bannerlord, which was a bad move in terms of my personal time management. But oh my gosh, I never really got into the Napoleonic Wars concertedly in the community, but I remember playing that and it was insane. I remember playing the mods for Warband, and I was like, damn, why can't they just do this? And then Holdfast comes out, so there you go. I should really pick that up. But that's really cool. So it came from the Bannerlord community, not the Bannerlord, the Mountain Blade community.
yeah. Some of our founding, some of the founding members, kind of sprouted from there. The founding members have since kind of dissipated, and new leaderships kind of come in.
Sure.
With Glofer, Ed, there's a couple others, and myself have kind of taken over the leadership mantles and just kind of guide the community and help out where we can. Provide. We do like a Patreon and stuff that the community is completely optional for. That pays for servers and other things for whatever games and stuff we do. But the regiment is still kind of or the community is still based on Holdfast, so we do maintain a Holdfast training server and event servers and stuff like that. So
Oh, that's really cool. I love tracing the lineage of these gaming communities, I swear. Oh boy. So yeah, what so I guess the person's in charge of, I guess, with the 77th community overall, Commandant would be in charge, and Muerto's kind of like foxhole operations, would you say?
yeah, he runs Foxhole. He does a couple of other games. I think he's pretty high up on our Star Citizen area as well. And then I think New World, when that comes out, he's been one of the guys that have been spearheading that as well. And then Starbase. There's a variety of games, but he really takes his pride and joy from Foxhole.
I've been playing that game since 2017 February,
Yeah, wow.
and I've been Colonial ever since.
And when did you start streaming? I feel like it wasn't since 2017. Or was it?
Oh no. In 2017, my life was very busy,
Yeah,
and I made my Twitch account. I think 2013,
sure.
2015, forever ago. And I was streaming. I think Arma 3 Life, and I would play as a cop, and people would get mad at me because I'd arrest them, and then they would always make false accusations. So I had to start recording, and then people would be like, "Oh, he edits his footage, and that's why he's not actually breaking the rules in that video." I was like, "Okay, well, I'll just live stream it then," and people would still make false accusations. It was ridiculous. And so really, it was just to stop me from getting banned. And then I kind of just did it off and on, just as like for fun. And not until just before COVID, I got diagnosed with this fun little disease, and it kind of just threw my life into a train wreck. And I started putting the pieces back together, and I just kind of started streaming consistently because it was just really something I enjoyed doing and could still do.
Wow. Well, I'm glad you since recovered or
No, it's chronic degenerative.
oh my goodness, I'm so sorry to hear that. Um,
Yeah,
I don't know if you wanted to share that, but I'm assuming you did.
I'll live.
Well, regardless, he didn't want to be a streamer, but he was forced to. The game forced him to.
Yeah, and it wasn't until about I think over a year ago was when I started streaming consistently, and Fox was just a game to do that. I just enjoyed it so much.
Yeah. Well, I'm
I've
glad you're.
played
Yeah.
out of 80 something wars, I've played in at least 70 something of them, and I played long before the wars were even a thing. I played a lot of Foxhole.
I'm glad you've since moved on to a game like Foxhole where no one will ever make false accusations in any capacity whatsoever.
Absolutely.
So, but we're
Everything's
very
on the
much
up
glad
now.
to have you. So you know what? Getting into the 77th overall as well. Back to that. Does the regiment have any like primary doctrines and styles? I know you mentioned QRF, so it's a little more easygoing, a little more reactive.
Yeah, we're really more opportunistic in the sense when it comes to overall strategy in Foxhole. If we see something that can get done that just makes the warden's life hell, we'll do our best to do it.
Yeah. So,
Uh,
based off of that, then, what would you say is the regiment's favorite vehicle and weapon?
Artillery, hands down. They like things that go boom. Bigger the boom, the better. We've done artillery batteries where we fired thousands of shells over the course of hours consistently and consecutively without breaks. It's rough on the people, but they can't get enough of it.
So I've never seen people work so fast to set something up that when you tell them, "Hey, we're gonna go fire 1,000 rounds," and everybody's all of a sudden on and wanting to grab stuff, and everybody's willing to grab anything and do anything. So
Yep.
Do you like artillery or fire support overall as it currently stands in the game?
Yeah, it's a lot better than how it used to be.
Hmm.
Before it was just like this very decisive, pinpoint accurate. You have to make every shell count because it's just ridiculously expensive. Now it's just kind of all right. We'll just keep shooting for about 5-10 minutes here. We'll move it over a little bit to the left, adjust for wind, and
Q
just keep the
Q
pressure.
QRF artillery. That's a choice. That's a style.
Yeah,
But hey, if it works
it gets the job done. That's for sure.
in spectacular fashion, I would imagine. Does the regiment have any official mottos or symbols or songs culturally?
I mean, we're pretty fanatical in a way. We don't really take much inspiration from real life doctrines. Like you can't trace us back to like I don't know the Soviet. Not one step back.
Hmm.
Uh, we're definitely death before dismount though. That's something we instill uh,
Yeah, that's certainly universal.
into our members. Another thing would probably be you're only worth 8 BMATs, so you just got to do something with it. Just make them lose 8 BMATs. It's more economic in that way.
Because of the shirt, right? Is that
Yeah.
what the cost of a single shirt is?
Yep.
Thereabouts. Oh boy. So does the regiment have any traditions overall? Kind of ties in with the previous question, but anything the 77th likes doing, uh, either before or after a session, or just annually, or anything you like doing?
Well, we have, I mean, a lot of just different community activities, but there's nothing really, there's no real tradition. We kind of just jump on and have fun with friends and get shit done. We look
Fair
back
enough.
and laugh at things. I mean, it's no real, like, we don't all rub our bellies at the same time kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. Does the regiment have any like kind of subsidiaries or sister regiments that go around? Just kind of all kind of coalesced around 77.
On the Foxhole side of things, not really. We're pretty self-sufficient and
Mhm.
independent that way.
But I
We
guess then the
we
question
we
would
are
be, what
big
other
fans of the
games? Yeah.
I believe it's the CGC, CRG. They always get those two mixed up. The Asian time zone one. I forget the. It's one of the two. We're big fans of those guys because usually around the time we're burning out and we're ready to fall asleep at the keyboard, they're jumping on and they're picking up where we left off.
Well, that's really cool. So actually, yeah, that leads into one of my questions: is are there any other regiments you like working with? So one of them is the Chinese-based CGC.
Yes, we love those guys. We can't get enough of them. Every time we see them, we cheer. We're happy. We're like, yes, we can go to sleep now. It's wonderful.
I think I've bumped into a few of them before, but I think maybe their mics were off or something. I didn't hear anything at all. Do some of the members speak English, or do you have Chinese translators or something?
In the 77th, we have a few different. Well, we have many different nationalities, but Chinese or Mandarin is not one of the languages I think anybody is fluent enough in to speak actual words or
Mhm.
sentences. So we rely on the CGC's kind of English speakers. We don't really communicate and get together and be like, okay, we're gonna attack here. You're gonna pick up where we
Sure.
left off. We just kind of we're at the front, and then we start seeing CGC tags pop up, and we're like, oh yes, they're here, glory.
It's like the relief force. What World War One movie is it that where it's like they're on the front line for 2 hours and it's hell, and then the relief force comes in and they swap out?
Basically that. But
I'm still.
we're a few words. We mostly just chant like, yeah, woo, all right.
Well, that's universal. I'm still waiting for that one regiment that takes the ultimate initiative and starts recruiting multilingual people, or rather, try to get someone who speaks German, someone who speaks French, someone who speaks Chinese.
We have that. We just don't have anybody that speaks Chinese.
Gotcha.
We had a lot of French speakers. So funny enough, when the whole French incursion came, and there was French speaking only people
Hmm.
everywhere,
Hmm.
we had a few French Canadians in our group, and for us, like a lot of other groups were struggling to communicate and just do anything. But we were it was smooth sailing for us.
That's really cool. That's kind of forward thinking inadvertently. Um,
Yeah.
so getting into some of the more kind of fun questions here, what do you think? Well, first of all, what do you think the 77th is known for? I guess one of those would just be home of MuertoGonzo. But what else, like overall, the 77th?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of just me being a streamer kind of overshadows the regiment. People don't see the 77th, they see Gonzo and his lemmings. And that's not really true. But I really, because I'm seeing it from the inside, so I don't really know what people think of us in that way. I just can't picture it. That would be a question for someone else, I feel like.
Yeah, fair enough. Um, Certainly, yeah. Actually, for a couple of other streamers who run or are part of regiments, they're usually kind of it for the regiment. I think there's a couple of exceptions, like some 82 DK members, but regardless, yeah, there's a lot more going on behind the scenes of that one Twitch channel. But in your opinion, then, both of your opinions, what do you think is the key to success to Foxhole? And I'll leave it open for you there.
I feel like Mortos might be a little bit better of a person to answer that, but
Hmm.
the QRF artillery thing, every time I've witnessed it and been there for it, seems to win the day regardless, to be honest.
I mean, there's just so much artillery can do. It's just one component to it. If you don't have infantry or armor pushing and taking, sort of seizing the opportunity that artillery does for opens, uh, it'll fall front. We'll just end up firing thousands of shells for no good reason, and we'll just pack up and go home. Um, really, the key to success is just working together with as many different people as possible. Which is why, even though I'm not a big fan of a lot of colonials, for some of them in particular, I can't personally stand some of them. I'll put that aside, and I will just focus on the team effort. Really, it's just working together would be the best thing. That and preparation.
Yeah, I feel
You
like
gotta
there's
have.
a lot of
You
people
can't.
who. Okay, go ahead.
You can't. Do an 1,000 or 2,000 shell artillery barrage when you have to make the shells at the factory as you're shooting them. It doesn't work very well.
No, it takes some effort. But yeah, what you mentioned about just kind of moving on, even just kind of ignoring the people that you don't want to work with. I think there's a hidden art there that I think a lot of people don't realize, which is just yeah, you can mute. Which, by the way, if you're listening to this right now and you don't know, you can Alt click on someone, hold down Alt while you're in the game, and you can mute them or just mute them through the F1 menu, particularly if you're new. You don't have to really get into arguments. Just there are definitely some people who, whenever I see them, I mute them instantaneously if they're not already auto muted. I don't know if it holds over. It's been like that for like 4 years, so it's like yeah, I've learned. Just don't need to make a big deal out of it. It's like divorced parents, right?
Yeah. Personally, I don't like to mute someone because even a broken clock can be told
Sure.
right time twice a day. So they could, let's say we're fighting in a tank, and the person next to me in the other tank is someone I don't like, and I have them voice mute. Well, I can't hear them calling out tank to my right, and then we are out of position and we get killed. So the only reason why I ever mute someone is because they're usually for Twitch reasons, because you can't have people spamming certain songs, because
Yes,
then I get in trouble. Or
Mr.
just really
Sunchips.
loud, yeah, really loud noises, stuff like that. Those are the only people I mute.
Yeah, and I mentioned Sunchips because he got in trouble from Twitch,
Yeah,
because people were saying stupid stuff on his stream, and he got in trouble. And silly Twitch things. So we've got redemption for him now in the form of that mute key, or that kill all audio or all incoming voice key, which I'm glad is in the game now. But yeah, so what would you say is the 77th's proudest moments? And we'll have proudest moments in Foxhole and proudest moments in just any game whatsoever for the 77th.
Well, I would probably say proudest moments in Foxhole. Something we get a lot of credit for is War 77. I don't feel like it was all us. We were just there helping, but people credit us for that quite a bit.
Just
I
the
feel
whole
like
war?
that's one of the whole war. Like, people are just saying, that's the 77th war. They won us that war. It's like, I was just there killing tanks, man. Like,
I don't think we were doing anything particularly special other than what we normally do. So
yeah, we just did everything we normally did, and it just worked out that time really well, and we just kept the momentum and kept going.
Good luck and good branding.
Yeah.
Overall, it's kind of hard to say. Probably one of our most overall crowning achievements was probably the I don't know how to describe it. We were one of the first in the Holdfast, which is where we came from. One of our crowning achievements was figuring out how to work three simultaneous. Sorry, it's a little early for me. Simultaneous lines at once while in a line battle in Holdfast, communicating, getting them to all work together cohesively, and working like almost like a well-rounded army in a sense, and figuring out artillery and other things like that. Because also, unironically, in Holdfast, one of our regiment's also known as being one of the best artillery regiments. So,
Go figure. I'm seeing a pattern.
We like cannons. Big boom equal fun.
Yeah, I see. Sorry, I just typed in 77th Holdfast, and I'm already seeing like 900 people in your Steam group and so on. I gotta watch some of these versus gameplays.
And then some of our other crowning achievements are like our competitive leagues. There is competitive line leading, group melees and stuff like that we participate in. We have what is probably one of our crowning achievements is being some of the best meleeers, just like competitive players in Holdfast. As weird as that may sound for a Napoleonic game, but it's one of our crowning achievements and things we like. We also our Steam group and our Discord, we do go in there and we do clean out inactive people every so often, just so that way there's just not empty
A good
slots
idea.
and stuff. So.
Keep it tight. So what? Talking about we have the Foxhole kind of division, and just 77th overall. You might have mentioned this earlier, but how did the 77th get started in Foxhole? Was it concertedly through Muerto, or Muerto? Did you play Holdfast first and then go into Foxhole, or was it like a joint venture?
I was playing Foxhole and I was making content, and I kind of just needed a break from constantly just every day, all day Foxhole. And so I decided to jump into Holdfast, and I was just playing around there, and I just joined the regiment just on off chance. Some guy was spamming a recruitment message in one of the public lobbies, and I joined in there. And then I went to a pre-war meeting one day, I think for Sigil, and one of the guys that was in the meeting was also in the 77th, and so we were just talking about Foxhole stuff, and then like immediately after I had to go to my orientation, and I went there, and I saw the same guy before. I believe his name was Chewy, and they had a small presence in Foxhole previously, and when I started playing with the 77th on Holdfast and we also started playing Foxhole a little bit together. We didn't really wear tags. There's like 4 or 5 of us that played, and we just had fun. And eventually, kind of just over time, we just started like, all right, guys, we got to put on the tag now. We got to make the regiment. We got to do all this stuff in game, and kind of just started picking up pace from there.
That's really cool. It's really cool how things form up, and like these kind of small mini conglomerates and communities. I just like finding out about it. Is there anywhere on the map? So getting back to Foxhole specifically, is there anywhere on the map the 77th would call home? And when I say home, it's not like you can't share it with others, but like what did you? It's like this is the spot that means a lot to us, and this is what we would defend to the last man.
I'll let Muertos answer that because I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but I'll let him do it.
Well, a lot of our members, or newer members at least, have not been big fans of Blemish, and so they've avoided that place and
You don't
refused to
like the
go there.
blemish.
They don't like. I personally love Blemish.
But
I
why
love
don't they like
chaos
blemish?
because they have nightmares of that little car bumping into each other sound. This little dink,
Ha.
stink. It's just all day, every day, and they can't stand it. And so they wanted to move to Longstone or to Silk Farms, and I personally hate Drowned Vale. It's just a nightmare.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Netherlands situation where it's like, yeah, it's natural defenses, also
Yeah.
really bad to drive in.
Yeah, and so we've been partial to the west side of the map, but we go everywhere really. I suppose Longstone, or sort of Fortress Westgate, as it's been called in the past, is
Mm-hmm.
our home. The last war, I think it was War 80, we built Fortress Westgate with I think 2 other groups were there as well. And even though we did end up losing the war, once we saw the sort of writing on the wall, we kind of just made a pact to ourselves and said, all right, at the end of the war, Fortress Westgate will stay green. I don't care what we throw at it. There is no retreating past this point. And luckily, amazingly, we hit the Wardens so hard with everything and anything anytime they showed up that the war ended with Fortress Westgate still green and still intact.
Wow. Yeah, Longstone. Longstone's a nice kind of like a compromise between Blemish and some of the other industrial towns because it's open, and it has 3 factories and a refinery. At least what I'm seeing right now on Foxhole stats. I'm used to, I think, only using the top 2, but I think there's a third one in the southwest apparently. And yeah, I can see why you'd probably get run over a lot in Blemish.
Yeah.
I think it's fine too, but it's whatever.
So when I
No, go
started
ahead.
playing this, when I started playing Foxhole, that was the only place I knew was Blemish, so it doesn't bother me either. So
Gotcha. Well, that's what the command thinks, not the boots on the ground. Well, I don't know. So what's one thing you could change, add, or remove from Foxhole if you're given the chance for anything?
Oh man, it's a long list.
I know.
you gotta pick one. Pick your most favorite thing to change.
Oh man, coming up blank on that. It's just I'm overwhelmed by the choices. Give me a second on that one.
So much.
Honestly, the naval aspect of the game
Hmm.
is lacking.
I agree.
The barge meta is very irritating.
Okay, does anyone use gunboats, or is it all barge drive-bys?
It's all barge drive-by.
Oh my gosh, it's
People that
still.
use gunboats don't understand what a barge is, and they learn what a barge is, and then they never use them again.
Oh my
It's just,
gosh.
it needs a rework, please.
It's one of
Anything.
those. Yeah, it's one of those things. It's kind of like I might have even made this whole spiel before, but I swear it's one of those things where it's optimal. I get it, but it's just so stupid looking. It's so
Yeah.
dumb. There's not a compelling argument, but whatever. Oh boy. So then, I guess on the inverse of that, what would you appreciate most about Foxhole?
What's like my favorite thing about Foxhole?
Yeah,
Oof. It's another long list.
I know.
Honestly, I've always just loved team games. I love having multi-crewed tanks and artillery. I like working together with other people to accomplish a goal. And Foxhole's a wonderful platform for that.
Yeah, you don't realize it until you really sit down and think about it in terms of like how the players interact with one another, and how much you really rely on each other, not just because you want to, but because the game absolutely forces you to. And if you don't do that, you're kind of screwed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know if there's those situations where you know how people like solo speed run Left 4 Dead, which is supposed to be impossible, but people
Right.
do it anyway. A
I
little
don't think
harder in
you can
Foxhole.
do that Foxhole very well. I'm sure you could try, but you'll probably just end up dead.
Probably. You might get lucky sometimes, but yeah, that sense of teamwork is really cool. So, with all that being said, where can people contact, who can people contact and where can people go if they want to join the 77th, not just for Foxhole, but for Holdfast or any other games that people might be interested in that you guys play?
We have a 77th Discord. That's probably the primary place that anyone can go to get. If you want to jump into the same gaming community and be part of any games that we play or anything like that. We also have a TeamSpeak that we use very frequently. We have both Discord and TeamSpeak.
Do you prefer using the TeamSpeak or the Discord?
We do use a TeamSpeak just because, like I said, we kind of trace that back to the Holdfast timing where we divide ourselves into different channels, and then our leadership can put on the channel commander option,
Yes.
so we can communicate between channels. So that's one of our biggest things. It also, for that purpose, we also have we divide our Foxhole channels in. So there's like Logi, just base building, AFK stuff, just so people aren't being bombarded by the frontline combat conversations. So.
Yeah, as an old PlanetSide 2 guy, we did the exact same thing. That channel commander saved our asses multiple times.
It's a dated system, and it's not the nicest on the eyes compared to like Discord and stuff, but it does things way better than Discord as far as voice channels. But that's just personal opinion, I guess.
It's kind of personal preference, but also like, man, that channel commander is so nice. Because how many people in a session? How many people will be on a team in 77th? Or sorry, in the Holdfast?
It depends on what event it is and who it is, and what if we have like lights or cavalry or artillery. But we can have anywhere from 20 to 50 people, right?
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So subdivisions.
Yeah, usually the officers and stuff will break off and go to a command chat, and we'll be our own stuff, and then we'll have lines set up with the artillery and lights and their own staff chats. That way, channel commanders use to communicate overall between the leaders, and then the leaders have control over their individual segments. So,
any requirements to join in the 77th?
Absolutely none, other than agreeing to our rules, which are some pretty basic rules. Be nice to people, don't say mean things, stuff like that.
Oh no, we say mean things all the time. Don't lie. Don't be too big of an asshole. You gotta be under the tolerable level. Okay, if you go above it and you're just too big, just too mean, you gotta go. Other than that, honestly, it's just G invite is just as easy as G kick, in my opinion, and that's kind of what we go by.
Gotcha. All right. Well, go ahead.
As I said, we have all the rules and stuff listed once you come in and everything like that, so it's pretty easy to see what it is. We are pretty lenient on some things, but once again, if someone complains about something, we're pretty quick to hash it out and stomp it out. So,
Muerto, isn't it so nice to have an HR department in Der Kommandant?
Yes. Yeah, it's quite nice to have the whole infrastructure set up for the group already there. It's really nice. We can really, the way 77th is set up, we can really just bolt on other games to it and just keep adding to it.
That's the dream. That is the dream. If you gentlemen didn't have anything else, I want to thank you for your time once again, Der Kommandant, joining us from Japan, 5 o'clock in the morning local time. Thank you, really. I hope you had other things to do this morning. And MuertoGonzo, as you know him from his streams, the Foxhole community, thank you, of the 77th. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
For the Press Corps, I'm Geoffrey Jennings. Good night. Good fight.
The Press Corps is a non-profit creative collective of artists, reporters, and players from the MMO video game Foxhole by Siege Camp. Our mission is to engross our audience in and amplify the stories of this unique war ecosystem. The Press Corps was founded in early 2018 by former PlanetSide 2 Radio Free Araxis host, Captain in Arms. It is a separate community entity and is in no way representative of Siege Camp. For more information, visit the Press Corps Discord through the link below.